we are live.
All right, Jared, what did you do to your hamstring?
I don't know. I was doing hack squats, and it was like third exercise in after like leg extensions and hamstring curls, and it was 10 reps in, and I was getting two more, and on the 11th one, I drove at a hole, and it's like a little bit of pain in my hamstring.
Was it like a pop?
No, it's like I did RDLs after, but it's sore and tight. Yeah, it's not torn.
Yeah, you got a hack squat out there?
Yeah, it's like a leg press / hack squat, like full setup thing.
Oh, it switches back and forth.
You just switch it around, yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Old school machines. Jared, did you say you're doing back squats?
I did. I did to start, but that's not how I hurt myself. I did hack squats.
Okay. Is it your first time back squatting in like a long time?
A long time, yeah.
Yeah,
since like good life.
How much did you squat?
I did 2 plates, 2 sets of 12. This is like average, but
that's good.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Last thing you want to do is go in and load up the fucking bar and try and squat where you.
Yeah, dude. We haven't been doing much lately.
I also it's the first time I've squat bare feet, and I liked it way more.
You squat bare feet?
Interesting.
Yeah, well, with socks on, of course, but like with Converse, I can't open up my toes and like plant.
Right.
So I found I was always on like my heels.
Hey, have you ever thought about getting a different pair of shoes?
Yeah. White toe. Yeah.
Would recommend. Get some atomics or something, man.
Yeah, something wide toed. The Converse are really narrow.
Dude, I got the widest feet ever, and atomics are.
Yeah.
That's why I wear them all the time.
Atomics are good.
Yeah.
Right away is good, man.
I can still grab the floor with those on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're like slippers with hard bottoms.
It's exactly like slippers.
Yeah.
I was posing in my slippers today, and I was like, "Wow, my slippers are better than my bare feet."
Really? I can't pose in slippers.
Dude, I don't know, like the ones I have on, I guess, like they kind of have rubber like grip on the bottom, and like I can wear them. Yeah, it was pretty good.
I'll have to take them backstage, bring them on stage.
Can't change the rules.
Pose in slippers.
You find it's better for posing when you can grip onto the floor, or when you can actually kind of like glide a little bit?
When I can grip.
Yeah.
Dude, see, when I pose, like my legs are probably my best body part, so I'm just trying to keep those looking nasty as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, I would say that's the biggest thing. Like for gripping is like your legs, but also like transitions. Like I find if your feet stick too much, then it's kind of like, I don't know, it can kind of fool you up.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have that problem on stage though. My feet are always pretty like slide around up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but I get that for you guys more so than me, man. I'm not like I'm trying to work on my posing and get better at it, but like that's not like my game plan ever. You know, I'm just like I just try to be bigger than everybody.
Yeah, just look huge.
Hopefully this works.
Yeah, you can stomp around.
Yeah.
So I was thinking to kind of kick this off, maybe we could talk about kind of why we started bodybuilding, when we started, and kind of what made us fall in love with it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You go first, Shay.
Me? Yeah. Damn, okay. So I played competitive hockey until I was 19. It was first year of university. And anyways, so I've played since I was 4, and I really enjoyed, the competition, everything like that. And anyways, like first year university, I was playing junior hockey, and I got a concussion, and it was my probably 8th one. Like from grade 12 until then, like from high school hockey and junior hockey, I like just like the concussions that I was racking up, they were just like getting easier and easier to get. And it was just getting worse and worse, like the side effects. So I was just like, it's not even worth it. And like my specialist was like, you're going to have to like figure out what's important to you. And like, it'd be a good idea to call it quits kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I finally decided to hang up the skates, and I was like kind of lost for a while. I didn't know kind of what to do with myself. And like, I was missing that kind of competition and like where to put my time in, and like, actually like discipline and like drive and stuff like that. So, I mean, I went to the gym since like grade 7, but like I was never training for bodybuilding or anything like that. Like it was kind of like going to look good. And like I started in grade 7 because I had scoliosis. So I was like kind of referred there from physio, and they're like, okay, you got to build up like the strength in your core and the strengthen you like your lower back and like just build a good strong base for like hockey, because if you don't have that, like you're going to get injured way easier. So that's why I started. It was more so like functional training, and eventually I kind of got into like weightlifting. Like I started deadlifting, squatting, benching, and all of that, and it kind of just built on that. And then when I didn't have hockey, I kind of turned to the gym, and that was like kind of my go-to, where I like decided to put all my energy. And yeah, and so like 2 years after that, or not even 2 years after that, it was like a year and a half after I stopped playing hockey, I prepped for my first show. And you know, I think it was more so over time that I kind of fell in love with it, that like the more energy that I put into it was like kind of the more I got out of it and the more it gave me. So yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah, that's my story.
Yeah. I had a question that actually, but now I forget it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you something too, and I forgot.
All right. Well, if it comes to you, let me know.
Fuck.
All right. I'll go now.
All right.
I played basketball. I got it to a pretty high level, like traveled a lot and stuff for it. And then just kind of like couldn't really end up going anywhere with it. And got my early years at university, which I did nothing with, just partied. And the more I partied, the less I played basketball, the chubbier I got. So knew I had to do something. And yeah, I just got into the gym, and I went to the gym and I got into it like because I got results pretty fast. Like as soon as I started like training, I started building muscle and like started drinking shakes and like, you know, solid progress, and like every little thing I did, it got better. And then when I figured out the food thing, I really saw changes. And it was like the first time I had abs and like stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this is sick. Like this is definitely what I want to do. And it just got to a point where like I kind of just was still doing all the partying, but like I stopped progressing, and I knew what it was. Like obviously I knew I was just like, you know, having too much fun and stuff like that, you know, to put it like softly. And then and yeah, and I kind of just decided one day I was going to do a show and dropped all the partying basically completely, and did the show. And like as I was going for my first prep, I was like, fuck this, I'm never doing this shit again, but I'm gonna see this one through. And yeah, I did the show, and I was like, oh, I gotta do this again, because I saw the guy who won, and I was like, I gotta know what that feels like.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to do that ever since, and it's been like 8 years. And here we are, 300 pounds. Yeah.
Question, Morgan. So did you lift before you quit basketball, or was that like something that you picked up after?
No, dude, I fucking hated like training actually. Like I would go to the gym every now and then with my buddies, like just to shag around. And like I was never really into it. Like I just, when I was into basketball, I'm all or nothing with shit, man. Like literally, like everything I do. Like when I was playing basketball, that's the only thing I cared about. Like if I wasn't like actually playing like with one of my teams, I was like probably somewhere at some court like shooting hoops.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like the grind of it. And like, you know, like I went to Canada Games for basketball and stuff like that. Like, you know, did all that shit. And was on a really good high school team as well. That we did pretty good, even like traveled and did pretty good. But and also too, like I think from that, like the competitiveness of it too, right?
Definitely.
Like I missed competing, and like when I started loving the gym, I was like, I actually like even when I was really into the gym, I said I was like, I'm never gonna compete. Like I thought it was gay, like it just looked stupid to me, right?
Yeah.
But when I wanted to learn more about lifting, I started looking up like getting into these bodybuilders and stuff like that, like because I was just like wanting to learn how to get bigger and shit like that. And those guys obviously knew what they were doing. And when I saw like they weren't what I thought they would be, like they were actually just like cool dudes who were kind of into it. Like I got like kind of more inspired to try it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is like to compete in what I like to do. This is the only way you can do it. So that's why I did it, because I just missed being a competitor because I was so competitive my whole life.
Right.
Yeah. Another thing I found with competing too was like you kind of build a family around like competing locally, and like obviously I met you guys, and like that was probably one of the biggest things that I missed from hockey was kind of like the locker room talk, hanging out with the boys after the games and stuff like that.
The camaraderie, yeah.
Yeah, so like kind of actually competing and like taking things seriously kind of, you know, it gives you like a new kind of family, and like, you know, you get that. So
Yeah.
100%. There's not a whole lot of people that are into it, right? But
no, it's a close knit group though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Man. It's such a strange thing, right? And that's why not
Yeah.
people do it.
Yeah.
You know, like when you take it, like when you compete, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like another level of like, right, that so you got to do it to kind of understand, I guess, to a certain extent.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go there. I've always been into sports, like all through junior high and high school. I played every sport I could get my hands onto. I was playing. Very competitive background. I love to win. So that kind of got me into the bodybuilding. So I played like pretty competitive volleyball for 15 years. And as I got older and continued on playing volleyball, I realized like it's really bad on my shoulder joints and my knees and everything. So I was kind of like, needed to find a way to like get out of volleyball, but still have that like physical outlet. So I was with like a girlfriend at the time, and I was probably the skinniest I've ever been. I was 150 pounds, 6 foot tall, like just an absolute rake, and just felt really like bad about myself. So I decided to go get a gym membership there at Global Gym on Elizabeth Avenue.
Yeah.
The first day I walked in, I was like, holy fuck, just monsters everywhere.
It was a different place back then.
Oh, it was a completely different place. So that kind of like opened my eyes a lot to like the bodybuilding community and whatnot. Seeing all these like big guys walking around me in the gym, like training hard and intensely. I was kind of like, man, this is like something I feel like I can do. So I trained for like 2 or 3 years, just like with my buddies, not anything seriously. And then I started going to like the local shows here and realizing like, man, like this looks fun, right? Like,
did you watch shows before you competed in them?
I did, yeah, man. I watched 2 shows before I competed. So I actually watched your first show.
I never watched a show before I competed. My first show was my first show.
No way.
Yeah,
Your show was my first show I watched. I think that was the year Jose Raymond was there, or that was your second show?
That was my second show. Yeah.
Your second show, yeah. So that's the 2 shows I watched before I competed.
Nice.
So I kind of like fell in love with it then, and that was kind of the first round of time where men's physique was getting on the scene. So I was like, man, I want to look like that. I was like, I can pull that off. I already had a 6-pack. I was already shredded. So I was like, I just need to put on a little bit more size, and I was like, I think I can give this a go. So a natural show came around here, there in 2016. So I was like, all right, this is my time to fucking give it a go. So I prepped for that show and done it and fell in love right away. I think I did 3 shows in 1 year, my first year competing. In the first like 16 months, I did 3 shows.
Wow.
It's just like it just spiraled onwards, right?
Yeah, you just kiss the dog, man.
Yeah, man. Like so that's what it's. I just kind of like fell in love with it right from there, and I haven't stopped competing since.
Nice.
Right.
All right, so I'll go. So I was like a really fat kid, like probably till I was like 14, and then I just like I was playing sports. I was playing volleyball and basketball, and I was like trash, right? Second line, just a fat kid. So I was like, oh, this has got to end, right? Like I want to win and like be first string, right? So that summer, I also like went through puberty. So I went from like 5'8", 170 to 6 foot. But I also like decided to lose weight. So I was actually 125 at 6 foot.
125.
125 is my lowest weight, yeah.
What were you
So,
before?
I thought I was skinny.
I was 170 and 5'8", and then I like lost a whole ton of weight and then hit puberty. I went to 125, yeah.
Jared blows my mind every podcast. So far.
I was like, oh, like, because I was playing like, I would like school would end at 3, and I would have practice till like 8 that night. I played like ball, hockey, volleyball, basketball, like everything, right?
Yeah.
And like I would eat nothing. I would probably eat like a chicken breast and some salad, right? I just didn't know what I was doing. So I was like losing everything I had, and I ended up, yeah. So I was like, once I hit 125, I was like, this is not like the way, right? So I got like, yeah, I'm like 125 and 6 foot. I'm looking at my friends, and they're all like way bigger than me, right? So there's no gyms around here either. So you had to like find your own stuff. So I got a home gym, started training, and then around that time, my school got like a program for a gym at the school, like a weight room. So the way it worked was like you needed a teacher supervision to train there, right? Which was like hard to come by because of sports and stuff. And nobody was willing to like devote 2 hours after school to stay, right, as a teacher. So I would like train, I could train everything at home, but I didn't have stuff for legs. So I would train legs at school, like when I could. And then, so I trained there and I put on a bit of size and I got better at sports. In my grade 12 year, I ended up getting like athlete of the year and all this stuff. And so then the first time I actually ever stepped inside a real gym was my first year of university. So I was 18.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And then so I went to Field House in September and I contacted Luke in December to do a show.
Yeah.
2 months of like real gym training.
Went to a gym and then did a show.
Yeah, just did a show. I was like, I knew I always wanted like to be a bodybuilder, and I knew I had to get that first show out of the way. Like it meant nothing, like it just needed to be done. So I was like, get it done early, and then we'll focus on the off season.
Yeah. Learn the process.
Yeah.
Now, right?
Yeah.
For me, like my first, like I did like a 6-month off season before my first show. I was like 6'2", like 220 on stage or something, like super.
Yeah.
Had like a ton of legs, but then like when you know the process of it, it's good because then you know what you're getting yourself into. And when you're doing your off season, like you know what you're working towards, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I started my prep or started working out at 150 pounds, did my off season for my show afterwards, got up to like 185, and then I stepped on stage at 158.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just right. It was just you got to get that first show out of the way, and that kind of like makes you fall in love with the sport then.
I think I was 170 when I started with you, I think, and then we went up to 200, and then I competed at like 163 or something.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's solid though, Jared.
Yeah, it was good.
It's good on you for like training in a home gym for all those years and like doing that, man.
I could do nothing, right? Yeah. That's why like my back is like more developed because all I could do was lat pull downs. I did lat pull downs endlessly. Like 24/7, I was doing lat pull downs.
Yeah.
That's Burry.
Yeah.
Wicked.
You guys want to get into some of these questions?
Yeah, let's do it. I got a bunch too. Some good ones there.
All right. This is from one of my clients. He said, how long should you be in a bulking phase? And then how long should you be in a cutting phase? So we'll just each give our opinions on it. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that all like kind of depends on one, like your genetics and your goals, right? Like every body is different. So everyone's going to need a longer gaining phase than a cutting phase. But the biggest thing is, I think that you should gain as long as your body allows it. Once the gains start to slow down and you're pushing the food and the weight's kind of not really moving and you're just starting to add body fat, then it's time. That's your body telling you it's time to start cutting the food down and just doing like a little bit of a recomposition, right? Just trying to get some of that body fat off and hold on to as much muscle as possible. And then it's the same thing works for that, right?
Yeah, I think everyone needs to realize like there's not one set way to do it.
No, man.
Like there's not a right way, there's not a wrong way.
A wrong way.
There's just like a template that you kind of start with and you just make adjustments for yourself like as you go, right? So yeah, exactly.
It's a learning process.
If you're in a bulking phase, you can continue to push the food and as long as you're gaining strength in the gym,
yeah,
you're getting a good pump and you're not getting your body fat percentage doesn't get too high, you can keep going. Right. But like you got to really be doing those things and like measuring progress because you also don't want to just be at a point where you're just doing nothing.
Nope.
Right. It would be better just to get lean and then set yourself up for another bulking phase. Right.
I think the general population's problem is they're always yo-yoing back and forth. They're bulking, then they're cutting. They're bulking, then they're cutting. They don't spend enough time at one thing or the other.
Yeah, because it's you know why? Because
exactly.
The top ends of both of those things are extremely uncomfortable.
Extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when you're bulking, like fuck, dude, I know what it's like. Like you're just eating is like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And then when you're cutting, like getting really lean, like all you want to do is eat. So
yeah.
And it's they both have their pros and cons for sure. But what was the end part of that question? How long should you be in a cutting phase? Yeah, well, you want to get as lean as you can, right? Like,
yeah,
and then I find with people getting lean though, especially when they're beginners, like they can only really get so lean.
They can only get so lean the first time.
Yeah, before your calories just get like stupid low, and and then it's just like okay, that's enough. Like, and then you gotta go through a build phase, and then the next time you cut, you'll get leaner.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. That's how it goes. Like every time you bulk, you can get bigger. You'll be bigger at a lower body fat, and every time you cut, you'll be leaner with more muscle.
Exactly. And what people have to realize is that the more muscle you have, like the faster your metabolism becomes, the easier it is to lose that body fat and maintain that muscle then, right?
Yeah.
So question. So like, you know how there's a post-show rebound and your gaining is like after a show, it's like really good. So would it be like the lower that you cut, like the more that you cut down, the leaner you get, the better the rebound is? Or like, how does that work?
Yeah, because Luke, do you got to say anything?
No, you go ahead.
Because the leaner you are, like the more like insulin sensitive you are, basically, right? So that means your body's like more in a more efficient state to use carbohydrates as like fuel, right? And you also more likely to store them as glycogen, and your muscles will use them for energy.
Just ready to soak it up.
And so then like, that's why like you have the best chance of gaining muscle after a show, right? Because you start, and if you do it right, if you reverse diet, like which is like really hard to do, obviously, but if you do that right, that's the best way to do it, because the longer you keep yourself insulin sensitive while you're gaining muscle, the more you gain muscle for. That's why the worst thing you can do after a show is just get fat. And because when you're fat, you're insulin resistant. So that means your body doesn't really use the food that you're eating as much as it stores it.
Right.
You're insulin resistant at that point, right? So yeah, like exactly. So the leaner you get is the better point you're going to be to start a bulking phase, right? As long as you can control your eating.
Yeah.
You
Cool.
know? Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. Anyone got any other questions?
No, I agree with you guys. It's just breaking plateaus. Like you can't bulk forever. Like you're just gonna hit a wall eventually, right? So you just gotta bulk to an extent, do a recomp or cut, get your insulin sensitivity back, and then just do it all over again until you eventually are huge.
Every good physique was built from cutting and bulking, cutting and bulking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, that's the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a pretty good question here from Hugh. He asked how to get a good tan for stage, multiple or just get a good quality one. So I think what he's asking there is like for the actual tan for your stage, you should always go with the tanning company that is running the show, that is sponsored by the show.
Yeah.
Going off and doing your own tanning is never a good idea.
Well,
especially if it's your first time.
Yeah.
You know what? To be honest, even from like a political standpoint,
yeah,
you don't want to be the dude on stage that has a different tan that didn't support the tanning company.
That didn't support exactly.
Like,
and you're gonna look different than everyone else.
Use your head, and but yeah, exactly. So use a tanning company, but I think like you gotta prepare your skin too. That's
skin prep's a huge thing.
Well, yeah, and like at the very least, just what's it called that you do with your skin?
Exfoliate.
Do that shit.
Yeah, 2 weeks out, you need to start exfoliating your skin. Like every day in the shower, just get one of those exfoliators and just scrub all over your body.
Yeah, and honestly, if you do that, you're probably good.
You're best con. Best con, yeah.
All the same, the tans that we had at our show, the one me and Jared did, were absolutely garbage.
They're green.
Yeah, what?
Was it from the company like that?
Yeah, they were just like all orange. I don't know what happened, but
you guys never did anything weird, did you?
No, like it wasn't just us. It was just
all of us.
You guys weren't moisturizing yourselves the day before, like you putting on his back, him putting on your back.
if you turn green, you screwed something.
You guys only do that in the off season,
man. No, we weren't green. It was like orange.
Our armpits were green though.
That's from your deodorant and body wash. So there's the chemicals that are in like soap and body wash.
I love that shit.
I love the smell.
I have it on right now if I could. We still get 3 coats. I just live in it. I got more questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a good one. What have you found to be your most beneficial training split, and is it good to switch it up?
That's a loaded.
We all do bro split. Besides, well, Morgan, you're doing that kind of a push pull leg now, but
yeah, I think it depends on where you are in your training too. Because for the longest time, I did push pull legs, and that was definitely good for me at that time because just like the way I was training and like especially being new to training, like getting frequency and like, the more you're training something, more you're doing a movement, the better mind muscle connection you're going to get. So I think over time developing those kind of, I guess, habits and like working on the actual movements itself, especially as a beginner, is really good. And then once you get that down pat, like doing a bro split or something like that, and just hammering the one muscle group a week is good. But
what I think is the problem is people try to overcomplicate it way too much.
yeah.
Right? Like everyone's they're always looking for this new way to build muscle and add muscle, these new exercises. But the main thing is like the basic movements work. The same shit they've been doing for the past 50, 60 years, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Too much exercise variety, like not focusing enough on the basics.
Yeah.
And like, because it's like this, right? Like people get bored.
Yeah, that's
right?
what happens.
But they're only bored because they're not pushing themselves on the exercises that they're doing. So it's like we've all been doing the same exercises for like a long time, like me especially. And it's like once I learned how to really push myself, it's like squats, like don't get bored because like I feel like I'm gonna die when I'm doing
Yeah.
like every time.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like heavy barbell presses and Smith machine is awesome, like you know what I mean, like but that's what it comes down to is just doing shit you never done before on the same exercises really, and like switch up your accessories here and there, but still make sure you're trying to get better at those too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you really shouldn't need to change your training that much.
No, especially if you're a beginner too, right? You need to build that foundation with all those big main compound movements, right?
Yeah.
Like the barbell squat, your bench press, your deadlifts. Everyone should all be starting with that.
Yeah, man, definitely. I get clients all the time, and like they just eat, like they'll just say it like that, like, oh, like can we switch up my training plan? And like I'm just like, why?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at the training plan. I'm like, I don't see how this doesn't build muscle.
No.
But switch up a few things. It's not a big deal, right? But
No.
I think that's why everyone just needs to get implanted in their head. It's like get good at exercises that work for you and connect well with you all the time, and just get better at those. And then like if you get better for a while, and then you plateau for a while, like then maybe
then you can switch up a couple exercises.
Like if you're doing like an incline barbell press, like go to an incline dumbbell press.
Exactly.
Or if you're doing a squat, go to like a squat machine.
No drastic changes.
Yeah, just keep like your muscles work the same way. Your muscles like have the same functions in your body. Like you're just trying to make a muscle stronger under its purpose, like that range of motion, right? So, as long as you pick a movement that emulates that and you can get stronger at it without hurting yourself, you're gonna make progress.
Yeah.
All right, that's what
I have a question that kind of relates to this. So they asked, how do you manage strength training while still maximizing growth? So I guess they're talking about like actual like gaining strength on their squat, deadlift, bench, and then also growing. So I don't know if
Progressive overload.
More of a power building style.
Yeah, exactly.
you just gotta get stronger and you gotta eat.
Yeah.
But like I think what they're kind of getting at is like I was kind of in this situation because like I was like trying to decide if I wanted to focus on bodybuilding or powerlifting because all my friends were powerlifting, and so I was like squatting, benching, deadlifting like twice a week and going heavy and like focusing on progressing those lifts, but then I was also doing exercise or like accessories afterwards. So it's like the recovery I was getting from that definitely wasn't optimal, and also the growth that I was getting from the accessories and the other movements, like I wasn't really benefiting from them as much because I was so fatigued from the compounds. So I think the biggest thing would probably be to kind of pick, like you got to decide if you want to excel at one or the other. And I noticed a huge difference. Like as soon as I picked, like I was like, okay, I want to do bodybuilding. Then it was like my gains just went through the roof, and like I was able to focus on movements that were actually beneficial to my physique rather than just focusing on the strength, right?
Yeah, I think what it comes down to there is like your central nervous system being taxed from the heavy lifts, like the heavy compound movements.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like that's the thing, right? Like you can definitely bench, squat, and deadlift every week and still get jacked. But you definitely can't do them all twice a week.
You can't do it twice a week. No.
No.
right? Your central nervous system like is just not going to be in a state that's going to allow you to grow muscle tissue because you, especially with the accessory training on top of it, right?
There's no way you can get enough recovery in order for that to work. Right?
Yeah, no way. It wouldn't even matter if you were taking like drugs and stuff.
Take all the stuff you want.
Central nervous system still works the same way.
Exactly.
Like you make progress for a bit, but your recovery would just be too shitty.
I think that the only way to kind of like to do it is do maybe like one accessory before your big compound lift, then go into your big compound right after that first accessory. Do like your heavy 3 sets of like 5 to 6 rep range. Then you can move on to the rest of your workout. Then that's your big heavy lift done, and you're continue gaining the strength each week by doing it that way.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah, that's how I would do it.
And I would just really manage volume in my accessories.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be super
You're
warmed
working
up
sets max, right?
Yeah, like you're going to be super warmed up after your heavy lift. So like you're only going to need like to do 1 or 2 like working sets of whatever other movements you're doing, and you're going to get lots out of it, man. As long as you can push yourself hard on those sets, right?
Yeah.
Because if you do a ton of volume after your heavy shit, you're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
It's going to
Over fatigue.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I got a question. What do you guys? What's like your least favorite thing about bodybuilding? Like honestly, like if you could take one thing out of it that you didn't have to deal with, like whether it's like, missing time with your friends and family, or like eating, dieting, like anything.
For me, I definitely think it's the friends and family gatherings and social events.
Yeah, that's your.
You end up missing out on so much stuff, and it's kind of really hard for your family and your close friends that aren't into bodybuilding to kind of understand why. And that's the thing that I wish that could be gone.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Jared?
I would say food. Definitely food. Like the gatherings and stuff, I don't really care for anyways. Like I show up, but not like I want to be there. But food definitely. In the off season, I hate eating like 5 and 6 meals.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Jay?
That's a tough one. Honestly, I would probably say like PEDs, like to get to a certain level, you obviously have to use them. And I would say I would enjoy bodybuilding much more if that was just completely taken out of the picture. Like you could just, nobody used them and you could get to like, your maximum natural potential and everyone was on the same playing field with that. Right. But to get to a certain level, you obviously have to take them and there's risks that come with that. Right. So
that's a very valid point.
Yeah. Yeah. That's mine too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
That's my least favorite part about it. 100%.
Yeah.
Right. It's just annoying, to be honest. And it's just like exactly like you need to watch your health. Like this is like the only sport, I guess. Well, one of the only ones, I guess, where like you really need to watch your health.
Yeah.
To a certain point with this, right? Because everyone's so different. Like some people can take stuff and like they can be bad. Like they can have a really bad, like a lot of bad side effects, and they can affect their health. Like and then some people can take it and live to be 100 years old.
Exactly. See what a lot of people don't realize is it amplifies everything in your body. So if you have a genetic disposition to lose your hair or whatever the case is, it's going to speed that process way up.
What'd you say?
Dude, that's just the first thing that came to my head.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then like heart disease and shit too. Right?
Yes, man. It speeds up the process of every genetic thing you have going on in your body.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you're saying you got to be perfect. You just got to be a perfect human. And you're good to go.
Yeah. But what are you willing to sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what this is about.
What are you willing to sacrifice?
That's what this question was about, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you hate sacrificing that you sacrifice?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that would be it for me, hating that shit. But like you said, you have to do it, right?
Yeah. I also agree with your point too. Look, I think that's a big one, especially like it's not as bad like in the off season, but definitely
in the off season, not too bad.
It's like you're not even there, right? You're gone.
Yep.
So, okay, I got a spicy one here. So
Nice.
out of the 4 of you, who was able to put on the most size muscle this off season? So I guess it kind of varies. It has to be like
this off season.
It's gonna vary, but
like how much did we just put on?
So
Since
yeah,
we
okay,
competed
okay, yeah.
last?
So we'll do this. So from your last show, how much muscle do you think you put on?
Morgan wins.
Hey, I win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
He
think
hasn't
also
PEDs
competed
play
in
a role.
almost 3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's also had a longer off
yeah.
season, so it has to be kind of relative somewhat. But yeah, you go ahead, Morgan. How much muscle have you put on?
Yeah, I think. Well, okay. When I started this off season in January of 2019,
Yeah.
I was like 286, like pretty lean, like
Okay.
decently lean. And with my coach by July, August 2019, I was 332 pounds.
Yeah, you're big, man. I remember when we did the show and you were backstage, you're like, even like your like edema, your face was huge.
Oh, bro. 100
Yeah, you're just like,
He was a monster.
I remember coming around the corner and Morgan was just shoveling sushi into his face.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, I was eating like it was absurd, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone eat so much food in my life, man.
It was the only thing I did.
11 cups of cooked rice a day. Like, who the fuck does that?
I didn't.
That's
Yeah,
a
it was like 14 cups of cooked rice.
14 at the top. Yeah, it was 14 at the fucking in summer. Yeah.
Like 2 bowls of cereal a day, a bowl of cream of rice. It was over 1,000 grams of carbs every day for a while. And but I think like I didn't hold the 330 for very long. Like I stayed at like 325 until probably February, like this time last year, like February 2020. Then I started prep, and then I went down to like 300, and like that's when it stopped, right? But like I mean, like this is my leanest 300 pounds ever, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would say I probably gained 15 or 20 pounds of muscle for sure.
I'd say you definitely put on 20.
Yeah.
I gained muscle everywhere, and really like I couldn't even train my quads for the year. Not hard, but that kind of worked out for me because I think I did a lot of hamstring work in the time. So instead of training quads, I was just training hamstrings every week.
And it allowed for your upper body to kind of catch up there.
Yeah, 100%. That was a goal.
Yeah.
So I had a really good long off season. Like I think obviously I wanted to compete last year. Like I think I would have did pretty well and stuff like that, but it was just more time to improve. So it wasn't all bad, I guess. So yeah. But yeah, extended off season for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome though. How much size do you put on, Luke? Because you're the probably second longest off season.
Yeah. So I competed in October 2019 nationals. And I got down to my lowest weight for that show was 188. And my peak of my off season this year, I was 219.5. So like I'm not really going to know how much muscle I put on until I compete again.
Yeah.
But I definitely say somewhere around like the 4 to 7 pounds of muscle range.
Yeah, you're pretty lean now, man. This is the best you ever looked.
Yeah. So like this is the best I've ever looked for like a 207 to 209 in the morning. I probably around like 9 to 10% body fat. Whereas last year at the peak of my off season, I reached 210 like the day before I started prep. And it was a sloppy 210. Like I was probably like 15% body fat. So I've definitely added around 5 to 6 pounds of muscle for sure. Yeah.
That's
in the right places too, which is what matters.
That's what I was gonna say. Like your arms got bigger. You know what I mean? Like your shoulders got bigger. So
I put it where it needed to go. So hopefully that's what's gonna count.
Yeah. You make gains, didn't you?
Yeah, I would say like probably like 6 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like 10 pounds heavier than last off season, and I'm like probably leaner. So
yeah, you've put on some good size, man. Like since the last time you competed, dude, you've packed on some solid muscle, man.
Yeah, I think if I were to compete now, like I think I'd be around 170.
Yeah,
I was 163 last time, so I think like 7 pounds for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, you think I was still getting newbie gains, kind of too, right? Because it was
exactly, man.
First 2 months in the gym.
Yeah.
And then I did the show and got the rebound, and it was still within my first year of training at a gym, right? So
that's good.
You're gonna be huge. Like once you cut down and do another show and then do another off season.
Oh, look the fuck out then.
That's when you're gonna be like big, right?
Excited for it.
Yeah. You got tons of time, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last last show I was like, I think the lowest I was like 178, and then the highest I got up to was like 222, 223 in the off season, and I'm like 216 now. So, and I don't really know what I'm going to be on stage. What do you think, Luke?
Dude, you've packed on some size, especially in your legs, bro.
Yeah. 100%.
I'd say you'll be at least 6-7 pounds heavier than last time you were on stage.
How much are you weighing,
I was
Ashley?
gonna say 185.
Yeah, man.
216.
216.
Yeah, I've been holding that pretty much all week.
I'd say you gotta lose 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be pretty lean after you lose 25 pounds. Like, you're not like fat.
No, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I didn't say you're lean.
Oh my.
All right. Okay. If you guys could only have, if you can only use 3 supplements for the rest of your life, what would you use?
3 supplements.
Yeah.
Creatine.
Yeah, creatine, easy.
One at a time.
What?
One at a time.
All right,
Oh, one at a time. Yeah, relax here, Luke. Creatine, protein, and carbs.
Okay, Luke, go ahead. And then you can-
Creatine, protein, carbs. I'm the same thing, man.
Okay.
I would say omega-3.
Wait, are we like counting vitamins and that kind of stuff?
Dude, supplements.
What's a supplement?
Oh my god, that is a lot to narrow down to 3.
Yeah,
I'd say
we can get
omega-3. I'm gonna have to go pre. Just because you can get protein from food sources, right? Listen, you can get your
The most
protein from food
unnecessary
sources
supplement
easy.
in the world.
Wasting a fucking supplement for the rest of your life.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but can you imagine training on the daily without pre, no pump, no anything?
Yes, man.
Did you know how fast you get used to that?
Yeah, easy.
And
Well, I'm going omega-3, pre, and
We can't change your mind on the
creatine.
pre-workout.
Creatine.
there are other options for pre-workout, man.
Yeah,
You got
dude, like, come on.
coffee, you can have an energy drink.
Yeah, but like whey isolate also you can eat like real protein sources.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, well that's your alternative there.
That's
You
why
don't
you
need it,
didn't
right?
pick that fucking one either, man.
All right, what are you gonna pick?
What would I pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
I'm not ready. It's your time.
I would pick omega-3 for sure. I would pick. Oh man, I want to say turmeric. And
Turmeric's not a supplement. It's a spice. You can just
turmeric.
yeah, but you can just throw that on your meals.
I fucking don't know.
Hey, let him pick it. Let him pick it.
A lot of turmeric. I just know when I use turmeric.
Maybe, but
When I take turmeric consistently, I'm like good to go.
Oh, it's the fucking best thing ever.
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
And probably ubiquinol. That's another like that supplement changed my blood work.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Ubiquinol.
What is that?
It's like it helps like your cardiovascular health and like
Okay.
Generally like organ health.
plays a part in the electron transport chain actually.
Okay, Jared, thanks.
There you go.
Yeah. Nutrition major right here.
Nothing more to me about that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's good for you. It's good for you.
If I had 2 more, I'd just like to say that it would be omega-3 and zinc magnesium.
Zinc magnesium's good.
Yeah.
I don't narrowing it down to 3 supplements would be a really hard time to do if you actually had to do it.
Well, I think you just have to pick stuff that you can't really eat.
Exactly. You'd have to pick stuff that you cannot get from your diet.
Yeah. And it depends what level you're at too, right? Like,
yeah.
Like if you're a beginner, then like protein, carbs, and creatine are probably gonna, especially if you're not really in touch with your diet and stuff like that. Yeah. But
You trying to say something or?
well, you obviously change your mind.
I didn't. No. I like I just think about how much I use the actual like protein and carbs. Like carbs, like I only started taking carbs like probably halfway through this off season, but like they've drastically improved like my workouts and recovery and everything like that. So
It made a huge difference for me as well.
Yeah, well, I think carbs. I would take carb powder over protein powder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because carbs really have like a super positive effect on your nutrition around your workout. That was another question I got, like nutrient timing around your workout, just for us to talk about it.
Yeah, I got that question too.
Yeah, so I mean, like carb powder is excellent for that, just because when you're working out, like you're carrying muscle tissue, and if you drink carb powder, it's such a fast digesting carb source, it's gonna like spike your insulin level, and your insulin's like a transportation hormone that's gonna like drive food like into your muscles, and like and obviously you're tearing up your muscles. You have all these nutrients in your blood from food. The insulin's going to drive the blood to that. That's how you get a pump.
Yep.
And then your nutrients are already in your muscles, like starting like help you with your workout, but also help you recover, right? So carb powder is more than just food. It's like it sets your body up to have this like effect, right?
And you don't need very much. That's the biggest thing I've learned over the past like year or two. You only need like 20 grams pre-workout, 20 to 30, and 20 to 30 intra-workout. That's like that. I found that's like the sweet spot. Anymore, like if you do like 50, 60, 70 grams of carbs while you're working out, I find you get a lot of acid reflux and a lot of bloating.
That's what I do. But I'll start drinking it like halfway through my workout.
Yeah.
And I drink like half of it like while I'm working out, the other half on my way home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're also 100 pounds heavier than us, so.
Yeah, I think it's relative to body weight too.
Thanks for reminding everybody of that.
Yeah. Hey, that's okay.
Any of the viewers I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh my. All right, what's another good one here? Oh, what do you guys think of the new category being added this year? So wellness.
Well,
yeah.
Great.
You kidding me, man?
Anything to, you know,
what more could you ask for in a division?
Yeah. Like, no, I love it, man, because I myself, I've had a lot of clients, like female clients that want to do bikini and have done bikini in the past that just naturally had like big muscular legs. And I know a lot of girls who just like wanted to compete so bad that they literally like burned the muscle off their legs so they could, or tried to, so they could fit into bikini.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really want to do figure or women's speak because they didn't like the posing or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think this is a perfect division for those girls. You know, because you can still have bikini is still great, and now you have this division, which is like basically a bikini upper body with like really developed glutes and legs, and I think it looks awesome, man.
Yeah.
I had a question: is bikini the categories based on height or weight?
Height.
Or like same height?
Just height.
Yeah, same with well. I don't think
wellness is just height. Men's physique just height.
It's just height. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic is height and weight, right?
Height, weight for classic, women's physique, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, weight only matters for amateur women's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
For female classes.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's not much of that on the go these days.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a question here. What is your favorite prep meal versus your favorite off-season meal?
How deep in the prep?
Like, I'm talking like.
How fucked up am I?
I'm talking like 4 to 6 weeks out.
4 to 6 weeks out?
Yeah.
If I can still have egg whites and oats and peanut butter, I'm pretty good, man.
Yeah. I dig the oats in the in prep. Like
me too. I'm an oats only guy in prep.
Yeah, but in the off season, I literally last off season could not do oats. Like they would literally make me sick.
Yeah, I was doing them here and there, but I actually have oats in my diet, and I was eating it like my current prep diet, and I just switched it for cream of wheat, and my digestion instantly got like way better.
I'm a huge fan of cream of wheat.
Yeah.
Cool thing about the oatmeal, the beta glucan in oatmeal actually like hinders nutrient absorption in your stomach.
Yeah,
yes, man. I heard that.
Yeah, I heard that.
We a lecture I had a couple of days ago. He was actually talking about it.
Oh wow!
Like there was tests on the beta glucan and psyllium too. It just plugs up your stomach and coats your lining and allows no absorption.
Yep.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah. Every time I tried to eat oats last year at the beginning of the off season, I would eat it in the morning. I would just blend it up in my shaker with all my protein and berries and everything. And I would drink it at like 8 o'clock, and I would not be able to eat until 12:30 that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, oatmeal's out, obviously.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Now, I also seen Dorian did a thing about it too. I watched a grocery haul or something he did, and he was talking about it.
Yeah, Jordan coached me for a while, like
Yeah.
a couple of years, and oatmeal was never in my fucking diet, man. It was
No.
always cream of rice or cream of wheat. Those were my options when it came to hot cereal.
What's the difference between cream of wheat and cream of rice?
One's wheat and one's rice.
Okay, so there's no difference. Like in consistency, like they're pretty similar.
And the consistency is really similar, man.
Yeah.
Cream of rice is a pain in the ass to cook, I find.
Yeah.
Cream of wheat, you can literally just like put cream of wheat in the microwave just like you would a bowl of oats.
Good to go.
It cooks itself. Where cream of rice, like you got to constantly stir.
It's a shit show.
Yeah, but I highly recommend cream of wheat.
Yeah.
To all the people out there.
All right, what about favorite off-season meal?
Ground beef and rice. Definitely.
Oh man, I get sick of that.
I never get sick of that. It's just I don't know. I guess it's the fat in it and like.
I like the ground beef and rice because you can change it up really easily with different like sauces and make it taste like a completely different meal.
Literally just salt and barbecue sauce on it every time.
I love my air fried salmon and rice breakfast, honestly.
Yeah.
But I would say in off season, like a protein shake blended up with cashew milk and ice.
Yeah.
And then 2 bagels with peanut butter and banana on them. That's a good one. That was my favorite meal I was doing last month. Yeah, that was good.
My favorite off-season meal is a filet steak with air fry potatoes.
Yeah, that's a solid. Yeah.
I would say steak too, or just chucking on a barbecue or.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And a steak that you don't have to really necessarily worry about the fat content too much. You can get that little bit of extra fattier steak in the off season. Yeah.
I don't even like fatty steak.
Oh, dude, see, you don't like meat, bro.
Yeah, I don't. I don't. But if I feel fat in my mouth, if I'm chewing up fat, I just hate it and gross me out. I gotta take it out.
I could probably eat like 3 ribeyes a day.
You like ribeyes? Yeah, I hate. But do you like prime rib?
What? Yes, man.
Oh, fuck, dude,
the more fat, the more flavor, bro.
Yeah, well, I like lean muscle tissue going on. So,
all right,
works for me. But the fat, like, I eat extra lean ground beef, which is that's probably the fattiest thing I eat.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as like red meat goes, anyway. Salmon's pretty fatty too, but like I think of salmon fat differently.
Me too.
Yeah, you don't really notice it.
Well, it's like
it doesn't sit in your stomach the same.
It's omega-3s, man.
Exactly.
It's not saturated, right? Beef is saturated, so it's like dense and thick.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like fucking grease that comes out of meat. But when I cook ground beef, I drain and I rinse it. Like I try to get it. Oh yeah. Like,
I do that too, Morgan. I rinse mine.
It digests way better.
Yeah.
If you do that, like I notice a big difference in the way I digest it if I do that.
It's a huge difference, man. If you don't, and especially like different grocery stores, all their extra lean ground beef is different.
Yeah.
Sobeys
is the best. Dominion's extra lean ground beef, man. You cook that in the frying pan, you got to pour out a cup of oil.
Oh, dude.
Even like at home, man. Like my mom bought me some, because I'm at home now. My mom bought me some extra lean. I fried it, and man, there's like an inch thick of grease in the pan. I was like, "There's no way this is extra lean."
They're bullshit. Yeah, they're bullshit, man. That's the lean ground beef.
They're just sticking the sticker on the lean ground beef package to make more money.
Yeah. Well, hard times, right? Hard fucking times.
Interesting bodybuilding one. Nick Walker versus Justin. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know.
Man,
I'm going Nick.
They got way different physiques, man.
They're 2 completely different shape physiques. It's going to be very interesting to see the 2 of those boys standing next to each other with Blessing in there as well. Like it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. Okay. So if you guys were judging, what is your more ideal? Like, which physique do you like more? Which is more kind of appealing to you, or would appeal to people in general?
I don't like either one of their physiques.
I think Blessing has a sick physique.
Dude, if Justin comes in looking good, he does have a sick physique, but I just find there's something weird about his.
Are we talking about Blessing?
What?
We're talking about Blessing or Justin?
Blessing.
Yeah.
We're talking about Blessing.
Oh, Blessing looks great.
Yeah. I heard you say Justin. I was like, what?
No, I definitely like Blessing's shape more than Nick's.
Yeah.
It's very rugged, like Classic white guy look, just grainy and gross.
He has
he's like
a
Grant
very,
Gordon.
very long torso.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has short legs, long torso, freaky as fuck, super muscular, gets in super crazy condition.
Yeah.
He has pretty good balance. But Blessing is a super pleasing physique.
Very beautiful shape.
He has nothing missing. He's gonna be super
a little bit, but
super hard to beat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you know what? If I had to make a prediction for that show, I would say, I'd say Blessing and Justin are 1 and 2.
I think so.
I would say Nixon to probably catch third.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on if the guys bring the condition, because that's the thing about Nick. If he's in better condition than 2 of them, he'll probably win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if they come in a little bit soft, they're fucked. Yeah, that'd be my opinion. Good question, though.
Yeah. Let's see. This is a good one. So what is your biggest failure with training or dieting, and what did you learn from it?
Oh, this is easy for me.
Yeah, so I'm pretty in the same boat as Morgan.
So for me, last year I competed was 2018, and I did the Gladiator and had a coach and looked really good, best I ever looked for sure. And then a few months later, or 6 months later, I did nationals, and my downfall of the Gladiator was I wasn't peeled. I was obviously still in really good condition, but I was just came in super full and big. And I was told I needed to bring that fullness, but be leaner. So I decided to coach myself, which that was the thing I learned, right? Because I ended up coaching myself, and I basically just over dieted, over cardioed, burned off a bunch of muscle, made a good few mistakes. And then when I went to the actual show, when I was big for the Gladiator, I had to take a fair amount of diuretics. And when I say that, I took 3 diazodes, so nothing crazy, right? Nothing that was dangerous.
Yeah.
And I water loaded, had a ton of water in me and stuff like that. So, and it worked out really well. And because I did that last time, I thought I had to do that again at nationals, but I was the leanest I ever was at nationals by far. I was pushing 2 or 3% body fat for sure. I thought I was going to die. And then I took the same amount of diuretics, and I had nothing to lose. I should have just kept drinking water and walked on stage and ate my face off for a week before, but I only carved up for 2 days, took a bunch of diuretics, cut water a day before the show. And I just came in super small and flat. And, I looked like a different bodybuilder from the show I did before. So yeah, my biggest lesson there was not to coach myself. And basically, that's what went wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm in kind of the same boat. We're not the coaching myself, but the getting too lean, and then the last minute, screwing stuff up at the end. I think the problem is with me, we died down too hard at the end. I ended up getting to this insanely shredded state, and my body just takes forever to get all the carbs and glycogen back in. So I think the biggest thing that I've learned over the years is I need to start carbing up a little earlier and a little slower, than more so a 5-day carb up than a 2 to 3 day carb up. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I haven't been bodybuilding for long enough to actually have experience with, failure and knowing whether I should have done something or done something else. But I guess in terms of training, I would say probably would be putting an emphasis on intensity rather than moving weight. I feel for a long time, I put a focus on, okay, I lift more weight, I'm going to get bigger.
Yeah.
And that's not the case at all. And I only really realized that over the last year or even 6 months, really, when I started training with you guys. So that was a big kind of turning point for me. And I feel if I had been doing that earlier, I would have had, training would have been better, and I would have had more progress from that. So
I think we're all in that boat.
Yeah, it took me way longer to figure out than it took you.
Yeah, way longer. You're lucky. You're still such a young guy, right?
Yeah.
You figured it out early, man. So you're gonna make great progress. And you've noticed gains, right, from doing that?
Oh, without a doubt. Especially with my legs. I haven't back squat in probably, I don't even know. I think it was probably the summer when last time I back squat, but I put such an emphasis on back squatting and moving weight and doing like, I don't know, like 3x5s and stuff like that. And like, I just wasn't putting enough attention to the rest of my training and the intensity of the rest of my training than I should have been. Right. So
I think that's a lot of thing that people struggle with is the ego of lowering the weight, even though that they know it can benefit them.
Yeah. So like, especially for us, because like people see us in the gym, they're like, oh, these are bigger dudes. They'll be able to lift more weight. And like, you want to be able to do that. And because like, just because of your ego, right. And it's like, you got to kind of stop yourself and be like, you know, I'm here to train for myself. And
exactly. I'm here to grow, not show off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm in the same boat as you, Ryan. Like, I'm not really into it deep enough yet to actually have failed and learn something from it. But if I were to say anything, I think like my first year university, like I trained super hard. I was eating a lot, but then I would like train for 2 hours and then play basketball for 2 hours after. And I was doing this every day. Like it just wasn't efficient. So I think if there's anything I could have fixed or that was a failure, it would have been that. It would be just day after day, just train for 2 hours, play basketball for 2 hours, and just not prioritizing bodybuilding.
For sure.
Yep.
Can you guys hear my dog?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. It's not bad.
Not too bad.
No.
All right, cool. Had to put him in a different room. He's not going over there.
What do you guys think about commercial gyms versus small gyms for gym culture and community and all that?
It's going to be different, right? So again, it depends on the gym, but I mean, and equipment too, obviously. Like if you have a small gym that has really good equipment, that would be my preferred thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a gym with small equipment and like good people around. It's probably the hardest thing to come by. But commercial gyms usually have really good equipment, but I find like, you know, for me training around like people who aren't taking their training really seriously and stuff like that, and like kind of like it distracts me for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it changes the atmosphere for me. You know what I mean? Like I get everyone's there to like work on their goals and stuff, but like, you know, I guess for me, like I train pretty intense, so like I feel out of place at those gyms.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I do big time, right? Like, especially if you're there training with your buddy and you two are there super zoned into your workout and you're super intense, and then you got like people coming up to you trying to ask questions. You don't really want to be disturbed a lot, and that's going to happen a lot more in a big commercial gym than in a small local gym.
Yeah, and me and Luke were watching James Hollingshead's video on his YouTube channel earlier, and it was like when he trains, it's like he just has the gym to himself, and it's like it is a commercial gym, but like there's like nobody else in there with him, and he has access to all the equipment. Nobody's in his way, and like he just does his thing. And
that's a local gym in the UK.
Is it?
Yeah,
Kings, right?
Kings.
He owns part of that gym.
Yeah, he has a small ownership in it, right? His buddy.
Yeah, and but they're on lockdown, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are they still on lockdown?
Yeah, it's just pretty
UK,
crazy, I think, man.
Yeah.
I would agree with you guys said. I think it depends on the people too, right? Like
100%.
Even if all you guys were at Good Life and I went to refs by myself, I don't think it wouldn't be the same, right?
Yeah.
It just depends where people are too, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. How do you guys handle like someone talking to you at the gym when you don't want to be talked to?
When you don't want to be
I don't really get that problem.
Yeah.
All I kind of do is I just take my headphone out and be like, just give me a second here, man. As we finish this setup, I'll catch you after a workout.
Yeah.
That's the nicest way you can handle it. And sometimes you don't handle it as nice as you should, but
yeah, it kind of depends where you are in your workout. I'm just like, I know that like I'm just very short with people. Like I'll take out one headphone, just kind of quickly look to them so like they get the message, and then I'll just put back in the headphone, or sometimes I'll just ignore them completely, honestly. Like,
man, I've learned to just be completely honest with people with that, because like I used to kind of do the same thing. Like I would, you know, just ignore people. Like a lot of times, especially when I went to like more corporate gyms, like I would have my headphones with no music on.
yeah.
You know, like literally if someone talked to me, I would just pretend I didn't hear them.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not like nothing against anyone. Like I'm not trying to be a dick. Like I wish I could work out and have a good workout and talk to everybody. That'd be great, but you just can't, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like I like to work quick and stuff like that. But now like I just tell people, I'm like, you know, I'll like talk to him for like as long as I can, like just to like say hi or whatever. But then I'm like, I'm like, I gotta get back to my workout. Like,
exactly. But yeah, it's time for me to do another set. Like,
literally, I'm just like, I gotta do this set now. Like, and I just like and zone in. Like sometimes people keep talking to me, and I just like then I'll kind of ignore them.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm just like, I'm focusing on my set, man. Like,
Yeah.
And this obviously, so it sucks to come off like an asshole sometimes, but you gotta fucking train, right?
No, 100%.
See, the thing is,
I think people get the message though.
Yeah.
I think people get the message like after you do it a couple times, like you realize like this guy is not here to like talk, right? He's here to train.
Yeah, and some people are there talking. That's perfectly fine.
Exactly.
The gym can be a social place for sure, but it's just not for everybody.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when you've been going there every day for like 10 years. Just saying.
Slight flex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another good one. How often do you all honestly do mobility work and stretching?
I only foam roll before I train legs. If we're being honest.
Yeah.
And if we're being honest, I only recently started warming up and doing mobility training probably 7 months ago.
I don't even warm up on the fucking treadmill or anything.
Yeah, you're brutal, boy.
Yeah, you are brutal.
I literally walk in and do like 2 warm-up sets, and like I'm into a working set on something.
Morgan walks to the gym and he's just straight to the 100-pound dumbbells and he's just going.
I don't understand.
I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been a lot better recently. Like being at home and like I'll come down in the morning, I'll hop on the bike, and then I'll like my foam roller, everything is there, and I'll be like do a little bit of stretching and everything, get the day started like that. But like since I've been training at reps, I've been a lot worse at doing mobility and stretching and stuff. Because at Good Life, I go to like the turf or the area there that they have to stretch, and I do all that stuff. And like it was just something I did kind of on the way out of the gym and on the way in, and that's just not a reps. Like there's nowhere to stretch or do any of that stuff really. So for me to come home, have a meal, and then do all that, it's just like I just don't want to do it then. You know what I mean?
I think the biggest thing that has helped me the most is prioritizing like warm-ups designed for that workout.
Yeah.
So like on an upper body day, I'll do probably 15 to 20 minutes of mobility work on my shoulders and my back just to get my joints warmed up and blood in there flowing. I found a lot more growth and less injury since I've been doing that, right?
Yeah. And another question related to that I got was for us to talk about current injuries and injury prevention. So I guess that kind of builds on you because you have bummed out shoulders. So like, and I mean, I'm sure all of us do have some lagging kind of, none of our shoulders are perfect. And
like, I just gotta say, like for me, like I know, like I say, I don't warm up and stuff like that, but like I've really figured out like a way for me to do like my exercises in a certain order, like that I've been doing for a long time now that like I really kind of like feel safe doing and like I don't have any issues. And when the world isn't on lockdown, like I get a deep tissue massage, like a 90-minute deep tissue massage every week or two.
Yes, exactly. And that's a big thing.
Yeah, so like, to say I don't do anything is like not really true.
No.
Like I just get someone else to do it. That's all.
And that's one thing too that we've kind of both started implementing within the past couple of years is like the deep tissue work that has helped a lot.
Well, when you do that consistently, you learn how beneficial it is, and then you can't
realize.
And then if you try, and like we're all bad for it, like you try. Once you start feeling good, you get away from it for a bit.
Yep.
And then you're like, and then like you're good. Like that's what happened to me, man. Over summer, like I was getting it done super consistently. Didn't have any for like 3 months. And then like September, October hit, and like I had a month where I couldn't even train because my back was so messed up. And that was definitely from just not getting things like separated, and everything was just binded up, and I was lifting super heavy, and then something just went, and then I had a month of back issues because of it, right?
We have to realize we're in the gym every single day, like slanging around iron, just destroying our body.
Yeah, see, we're so used to it. I've actually been thinking about that lately. Like we're so used to doing that like it kind of blunts us to do what we're actually doing.
Yeah.
Like I was getting I did legs yesterday. Like I was getting off the couch before I went to bed last night, and like my lower back hurt, my knees hurt, like my muscles were just aching me. And I just like had a thought. I was like, man, I'm like hurting here. like to me, I'm just like, oh well,
Oh, it's just leg day.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's like I feel it, but I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just so used to just like always something hurting or aching or like a muscle being sore, like right. And that's why like when you get a new client or something like that, like I'll get a new client like after the first week, sometimes like they're just like so sore, like. Some people are messaging me like, hey, like, is this okay?
Yeah.
I'm like, and you're just breaking your body, and like,
Yeah.
give it a couple weeks, you're gonna be fine. And that's always what happens. But yeah, I think we kind of are just blunt to that, what we do.
We are 100%.
Yeah.
Kind of enjoy it too. Like when you don't have that, you're missing something.
Yeah, you feel like you haven't done something.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. It doesn't feel right.
It's a mindset problem.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. Dude, is that a
Kind of crazy how you
What'd
got to
you
be
say?
like sore to feel good.
No, it's the black one.
It's just crazy.
Oh. Is it gray?
What?
That shaker. What color is that shaker?
Black.
So I got the same one. I had a gray. I had a gray one. I was like, what the fuck?
It's a gray one. How come I don't have it?
Legit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, legit. All right, boys. I gotta go eat, man.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
starving here.
Yeah. I'm in prep mode. I'm not messing around right now.
No,
Yeah.
sir.
But it was good chatting, boys.
Yeah, no, it was a great
Sure.
chat. And thanks everybody for the questions, anybody who submitted them, and thanks to our viewers. This is
Yeah,
We appreciate all the love.
yeah, no, it was great.
Ask us some funny questions, people.
Yeah,
Just like funny random shit too. Like ask your training stuff if you want to, but if you got any funny shit, like
Anything. We don't care.
some would you rather's are always hilarious.
yeah,
So
for sure.
it'll keep it interesting.
Yeah, the feedback on the last one was really good. We got like even on Spotify. I don't know how like the Spotify stuff works, but like I put the podcast on Spotify and iTunes, and like it got a bunch of downloads and stuff too, which I was surprised. I didn't think anybody would really do
That's
that
unreal.
on Spotify or iTunes. So that was sick.
I didn't even know you put it on there.
Yeah. So it's on there, and the links are in my bio and stuff. So
Sick.
Yeah, I got a few friends out here. I was actually at the gym here in Central. And I got a few buddies I was talking to there. They said that they just downloaded it on Spotify and like went for their cardio, went for a walk, and they just listened to the podcast.
that's sick. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate it, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Take care,
Seriously.
guys. Good chatting, boys.
All right,
Peace.
guys. See you
Peace.
next week.
See you later.